So for example number 3, they want us to graph these 3 cosine functions. So let's do that real quick. So I'm going to leave cosine up, cosine of x. I'm going to get rid of this original one. So that's the cosine. I'm going to move this over here. What is going on? What did I do? I accidentally closed it? All right. So we'll say y equals cosine of x. And then they want us to plot y equals cosine, and then in parentheses we're going to put 3x. Okay. That's different. Then the next one we're going to do is we're going to say y equals cosine of, in parentheses, 6x. Whoops. The x goes in the parentheses. And let's put, whoa, that's way different. And then let's do this. Let's say y equals cosine, in parentheses, 1 divided by 3 times x. Whoa. All right, so this is a little crazy. So let's compare. This is cosine. Now what happens when I change that to 3? What do you, if you were to guess, what do you think it's doing? Compressing horizontally. In other words, when I look at this, let's do this. Remember that this is has a period of 2 pi. So to get from this hump to this hump, 0 to 2 pi. And then the pattern repeats. But for this one, to get from this hump to this hump, it's 2 pi divided by 3. Huh. All right. Well, now let's do this one. If I go from this hill, the top of this hill, to the top of this one, it's pi over 3. But technically, isn't that 2 pi divided by 6? Yeah, 2 pi divided by 6 would do it. All right, here's the other one. To go from this one, and I'm going to have to zoom out, to go from this one to this one, it's 6 pi. So my question to you is, what do you think 2 pi divided by 1/3 is? When you divide by a fraction. In other words, let's write all this out. Y equals cosine of 3x, and then we're going to talk about the period. Okay? So in this particular case, the period P was equal to 2 pi over 3. On the next one, we said cosine of 6x, and the period was equal to 2 pi over 6, but if you reduce that, it was just pi over 3, wasn't it? On the next one, we had y equals cosine of 1/3 x, right? And so if I were to say 2 pi over 1/3, isn't that the same as 2 pi divided by 1/3, which is the same as 2 pi times 3 over 1, which is equal to 6 pi? Now, what do you think happens if I say y of cosine of 4x? what do you think the period would be? So let's figure this out. I have this number here, I have this number here. I have this number here, I have this number here. I have this number here, I have this number here. How would I figure out what the period is mathematically? Could I say 2 pi divided by 4? Then that reduces down to pi over 2, right? Because 2/4 is the same as 1/2. Does that make sense? Let's see. So I'm going to close this one out, and then I'm going to type in y equals cosine of 4x. Now I got to zoom in. The period is pi over 2. So from an observation perspective, we've determined that, well, I'm going to write it. The book has a very formal way of writing it. I'm just going to write it shorthand. So when we think of a cosine b of x, or y equals a cosine, not cosine, sine, sine of b of x, then the period p equals 2 pi divided by b. If b is greater than 1, it's compressed horizontally. If b is less than 1, no, wait, let me think. We got to do it like this. If 0 is less than b, in other words, if b is a fraction from 0 to 1, then it is stretched horizontally. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay, that's it for that example.